The countdown is on to the crucial midterm election. Just 98 days until voters head to the polls. Their votes could shift the balance of power in Congress after rare mid-decade redistricting efforts coupled with the Supreme Court's weakening of the landmark Voting Rights Act. In the lead up to November, some voters, especially black women, are expressing exhaustion with our political system. A recent article in EBONY Magazine explored why politically active black women are feeling exhausted. According to the article, it stems from the results of the 2024 presidential election. According to polls, 92% of black women, who represent 7% of the voting population, voted for Kamala Harris, but their votes were not enough to propel their choice into office. As we prepare for another critical vote, black women are once again asking what role they play in our nation's democracy, while also hoping to ignite the fire in younger voters. Harlie Williams is a rising junior at Harvard University and the founder of Black Girls Govern, a nonpartisan nonprofit that empowers the next generation of black girl civic leaders. Harlie, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Sean.
All right, so we know your organization is hosting an event in the district this weekend, but before we get to that, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this political exhaustion that we've been hearing about that so many black women are facing heading into the midterms?
Yes, so what I'm hearing from young black girls across the country, and honestly what I'm feeling myself, is that there's a real sense of political exhaustion. But exhaustion does not mean disengagement. We understand that our voices and our votes matter. So our response is not to give up. It is to build community and to stay engaged. At Black Girls Govern, we're helping make civic engagement something that feels accessible and empowering and a part of everyday life. So we're bringing an ambassadors program on college campuses across the nation to drive civic engagement, and we're hoping that Black women are going to be elected up and down the ballot because representation is really important.
Let me ask you about how you guys are working to actually change that exhaustion we've been hearing about, and how are you doing? Give me specifics of how you're trying to empower this next generation of civic leaders on campuses nationwide.
Yeah, so Black Girls Govern is a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering the next generation of Black girl civic leaders. And our vision is very clear. We are hoping to create a civic home for Black girls. We're bringing that vision to Washington, D.C. and across the nation. So on our college ambassadors program, the girls are going to host voter education workshops, but we're also hosting the Mixer here in Washington, D.C., which I know we'll talk about a little bit later.
Before we get to that, let me ask you, you're a rising junior at Harvard University. A lot of your classmates, they understand, going to vote, but you've taken this to a whole nother level. What inspired you to get involved in the political process and create Black Girls Govern?
What inspired me really comes from my own lived experience. Growing up in Florida, I saw firsthand how public policy affected my family, my schools, and my community. And I also noticed that opportunities to learn about government and civic leadership often were not accessible. And when they were, I was frequently the only Black girl in the room and rarely saw elected officials who were Black women. And I wanted to change that. And so as a first-generation college student, I took a leap of faith and I applied to Harvard, where I now study government. And from there, I've been committed to closing the representation and access gap for Black girls so that they don't have to just learn about government, but they can also see themselves as leaders who can shape it.
Harlie, finally, we talked a little bit about the event you're hosting in D.C. this weekend. Tell us more about it, who this event is for, and how can people get involved?
Yeah, of course. So the Black Girls Govern Mixer is a space for Black girls and young women to connect, build community, and expand their networks. We'll hear from leaders with experience in the Biden-Harris White House, the Motion Picture Association, and a special video message from Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. The Mixer is this Saturday, August 1st, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Sycamore and Oak in Washington, D.C., and people can RSVP at blackgirlsgovern.org.
All right. Harlie Williams, founder of Black Girls Govern, thank you so much for joining us. We certainly appreciate your perspective.
Thank you so much, Sean.